Baby in a turban, Fiji, Jaishima, Jayantilal. They helped to win the series against the West Indies at Sabina Park and Queen's Park Oval. 158 by Kanai really sent our hopes up high. Noriega 9 for 95, the Indian team they still survive. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Janjurani, Solka Abidali, Dilip Sadesai and Vishwanath. They make West Indies bowlers look like second raters when those fellows came out here to bat. West Indies tried holder and keep voice. They had no other choice. They even tried with Newton Dow, but a shot at the sorry they bring him now. It was Gavaskar, the real master. Just like a wall, we couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Desmond Lewis, also Charlie Davis, they take a little shame from out we face. But Sobers as a captain, he won plenty coaching before we cricket end up in a disgrace. Beatty here that he became a father, he catch out whole first in the cover. But when Sobers here, he too had a son, he made duck and went back in the pavilion. It was Gavaskar, the real master. Just like a wall, we couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all.
Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, all who are listening currently and who have been waiting patiently for the show to begin this afternoon. Good afternoon to those in New York, Miami, London, wherever you are. Fellow umpires that are not here at this time but certainly listening to the program abroad. Wherever you are, good afternoon. Good afternoon also to the owners and management of this great radio station, and thanking them for giving us the opportunity to speak to the people of Trinidad and Tobago in this lovely program. This evening, our program, as usual, the Third Umpires, we look at issues in the news, we look at things that are happening currently and how they affect us in Trinidad and Tobago, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but things that are happening internationally. We look at also at geopolitics and how those issues, of course, affect us in Trinidad and Tobago. So we also look at things from the standpoint of our comparison between the batting side and the bowling side. So the bowling side obviously is the opposition, and the feeling side, the batting side, of course, is the government. So good evening again, and you are listening to Stephen Matheson on the Third Umpires. I would want to start with looking at what would have happened over the weekend with respect to crime and the effects of that, and what we spoke about last week as it relates to how do we control crime and the issues relating to crime, and the head of the police service and the National Security Ministry and that kind of thing. So I want to start there. What I would also note also, we just have about 10 minutes on the clock again before we go to a break, because of course I came in late, and so this first hour would have run down. So I saw there was a murder, a really brazen murder. It's sad. I mean, when I looked at the video footage of it, that was the murder that took place in Bamboo, with a guy who came from the vet at Jean Pierre, and when he probably went to get something to eat, and was approached and shot. I looked at the firepower and how he was shot. I mean, it was really, really sad. I think it is shown on Ian Allen's show also, but I saw it on a video footage circulated on social media. And what I see there, I mean, is kind of like, you feel like you're not living in Trinidad and Tobago, this safe or this nice little island in the sun. When you see these kind of things happening, it frightens you, because the question anybody would be asking, I mean, I don't know the gentleman, but the question anybody would be asking when they see this is, I mean, this could be me, this could be anybody, right? And one wonders why it appears to be, how it happened. It doesn't look like it is robbery, but as a consequence, the gentleman was robbed too. They took his gold chain, and I understand that there was someone who was around when it happened, because the two men that did the shooting, they jumped in a car and they sped away, but there was someone around who took the keys for the gentleman's vehicle and drove off for the gentleman's vehicle also. So the police is still probing as to whether or not that person was part of the whole trilogy that took place on that day, or whether or not it was somebody who saw the opportunity and took the gentleman's vehicle also. But that too is sad. And that brings me to, the thought that we need in some way, I mean, last week we discussed a lot as to whether or not we feel safer and whether or not crime was on the decrease. And if so, what is the police or what is the state doing to augment the reality of crime? And many of you had to say nothing. Many of you had to say, well, if they are doing something, they need to let us know, because clearly it seems that even though crime seems to be, serious crime, murder seems to be on the decrease, it has little or nothing to do with the fact that that you can't scare people into not committing crime, people who are accustomed doing it. So with signs of Punisher on your shirt and that kind of thing, that doesn't scare anybody. The real criminal, that just shows how morbid and how sick you are in your mind, thinking that you can equate Punisher with fighting crime in Trinidad and Tobago. But the thing is, clearly, we are, if something serious was being done, if something, you had a plan, regime, to deal with the issues or to deal with the scourge of crime and the way it is happening, and when I say crime here, I talk about murders and that kind of thing, then maybe we'll be seeing a different kind of reality with respect to these kind of issues and these kind of incidents. So I'd want to hear what you have to say relative to this, because I read something else in the Express, and maybe we'd want to discuss that at length on the next hour, and it relates to a gentleman who was freed twice. One because the last year sometime he was freed by a judge, saying that the prosecutor did not present their submissions for the trial to begin, and this was an incident where the gentleman was accused of killing 2 people sometime in 2022, and then he was freed again for similar reasons, right? There was the witness account was incredible, and the judge sought to issue a stay of indictment in the matter, so the gentleman was freed again a second time, and that speaks a lot to criminal prosecution in Trinidad and Tobago, and how the state, not the state, but how the police and the DPP seems to be not conducting their business in the way it should be conducted to secure convictions in matters, serious matters like this that we are talking about. So that is something I would want to discuss in the next hour. But clearly, we have a problem, or we are having a problem in Trinidad and Tobago, and we seem to be clueless. For those who are saying that things are happening now, clearly, I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's luck or if it's just something has happened, or goodwill, but there has been a reduction on a trajectory and I say on a trajectory because you would have seen the numbers, and even for Carnival, the numbers seem to suggest that Trinidad and Tobago is becoming safer. But that is just the statistics. Statistics do lie from time to time. Most of the issues, most of the social issues in Trinidad and Tobago remains the same, and therefore it stands to reason, if that is the case, then we may have to bear with some of the effects of that, and some of the effects of that usually would be crime. Now, I do understand the position that the government is in, that is the baton side, and what they met and what they have available to them. Clearly, I heard an economist spoke today, and he was saying the country just don't have the resources to be able to do the things that the citizens expect. So maybe we should probably be more patient, right? I heard Fali talk about the blue wave, and he talk about the fact that the vessel is, he promised the people that things will happen soon, or things will be moving again, because Tobago is in dire straits right now. And that too is another issue that we will want to talk about even on this program. But I'm saying all of this to say that we need to hear from the leadership. We need direction as to where we go from here, and how we intend to solve these kind of problems that are affecting Trinidad and Tobago, because clearly one affects the other, right? It's kind of like a domino effect, right? If we don't have the resources to be able to do certain things, it means that the country will have to prioritize in certain other areas. I would like to hear from you, the callers, you, the listeners, who listen to our program all the time, and who may also have answers. We too have some answers. We too have some, not answers, but solutions. From time to time, we give you them. And I maybe in the next hour, I will talk about some of the solutions that I feel could work in Trinidad and Tobago. But at the end of the day, when you look at what's happening, you are seeing people dying. Things have remained the same to a large extent, and that is something that people are becoming very, very concerned about, right? When I looked at that video, when I looked at that murder, and there are others, but when I looked at that particular murder, and I look at the firepower, the amount of gun, I mean, there was a using that was an assault rifle, and also a handgun, and one guy appeared to have emptied his clip, and I mean, it's not one shot this person got. This person got several shots until he was moving again, and that song like that looked premeditated. And why I said it didn't look to me like a robbery, because of how it was done and how much shots the guy picked up. That didn't appear to be a robbery. That appeared to be, the robbery was, the taking of the gold chain was just a consequence of the guy on the ground, and they saw the opportunity to take the gold chain because he's dead already. But and even with the vehicle. But I am not a police investigator, and they will be able to tell, they should be able to tell, given when they do their research or when they check it, they investigate the whole thing, they should be able to tell whether or not it was a robbery or if it was something other than a robbery. But it certainly looked very, very sad, I should say, and frightening for citizens. And while we see that as a common reality in Trinidad and Tobago, it is something that the powers that be should be considering taking very, very, very serious steps in dealing with it. And I'm saying this because I know there was an attempt recently to make some changes in the Zoso bill to deal with these kind of issues. And for whatever reason, the feeling side did not support it. But not just the feeling side, the independent senators also didn't support it, save and except one of them would have abstained. So all of that are things that I don't want to discuss in the next hour. Stay tuned. We are going for a break now. When we come back, we will continue this discussion.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
After Carnival, TNT, the show you all been waiting for. Laugh till your belly busts. In partnership with Talk City 91.1 FM and TTT Limited, 28th of February at Napa, Port of Spain. Showtime, 8 p.m. sharp. Come see the funniest guys on the planet and the man who took social media by storm, Victor St. Louis, a.k.a. Pelp.
Yeah, nah, things so hard right now in Trinidad. You know a store in town, no fire, 2 mannequins.
All his funny friends. Kenneth Sipasa, the greatest story time teller ever. Shaquille, Louis Spider-Man Antoine, Andrew Friday, The Saint.
Okay, me no first, it's so expensive. I went and priced a plate there. You know, they're telling me $10,000 for a plate. I say, oh, there are no sauces.
And Paniska is back.
Stop it, honey. Don't bring out the dog in me, you know. I better scrape you.
Get those tickets now. Ronnie and Caro, Mascot, Maraval Road, Port of Spain, Bruce Bar, St. Augustine, and IslandEtickets.com. For ticket hotlines, call 278-5892, 316-0814, 382-9986. Laugh till your belly busts.
Not everything has to change. At KFC, we don't change the flavor, we add more. Now, get our delicious Lent value meals so you can keep on crunching. Get a fish sandwich for $45 or fish fillet with 1 regular side, also $45. We give you more of the taste you love for Lent. So keep on crunching with KFC. Finger licking good.
Jump into savings at Furniture Plus. Enjoy up to 40% off in-store and online. Find amazing deals on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. Plus extra discounts on credit plans and free gifts with select purchases. Save more at Furniture Plus today.
Man, I went by the ATM to get some cash and the machine saying insufficient funds. I sure I have money in my account.
Boy, that happened to me already. Here what to do. Make a report to your bank. But if you're still not satisfied with how they're dealing with it, contact the Office of the Financial Services Ombudsman. Let me text you now.
If you want to resolve a complaint with your bank, non-bank financial institution, or insurance company, contact the Office of the Financial Services Ombudsman at 800-4FSO or visit www.ofso.org.tt. We can help, and our services are free.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Is a whole lot of flavor wrapped up in a twist. Some of them try to rap, but they don't rap like this. With crispy KFC tenders and lettuce and carrots and shredded tortilla embedded, perfect wherever you headed. Dripping with that creamy mayo and that mambo sauce. Let me tell them one more time to get my point across. It's a craveable, crunchable, movable, functional, flavorful meal that your taste buds must endorse. KFC crunch twist, crunch twist. None of them, they don't make them like this.
Introducing KFC's Crunch Twist, a flavorful wrap with a delicious difference for just $29.95. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, listeners and callers, we are back. And feel free to call us or call me to engage me in this discussion this evening. And as usual, we discuss very important issues that are in the news. And I want to start off by talking about an article. Let me just read the article as a matter of fact. An article written in today's Guardian, written by Derek Achong. A man from Arima who was freed of a double murder due to prosecutorial delays before being rearrested and recharged last year has been freed again. Sion 6 Nicholas of Simon Road, Karapo, was set free last week after High Court Judge Nalini Singh granted a stay of the indictment against him due to issues with the evidence and allegedly linked to the crime. In early 2022, Nicholas was charged with murdering Richie Richard Ragu, Emmanuel Nylon Philip, and the attempted murder of Zachary Caesar. He was also slapped with firearm and ammunition possession charges. The men were shot at during an incident at Jokan Trace, Karapo, on October 25th, 2021. Caesar attempted to run away, but was shot. He pretended to be dead, but was shot a second time in the foot by the gunman. The gunman was running away. Ragu and Philip, who was Caesar's uncle, succumbed through their injury. Caesar survived and became the state witness, or became the state main witness against Nicholas. In May last year, Nicholas was discharged by the High Court Master Whitney Franklin after prosecution failed to meet the deadline of filing the evidence against him, including a sworn statement from Caesar. Nicholas was released from remand at the maximum security prison in Aruca, but hours later he was rearrested and slapped with the same set of charges. He was committed to stand trial by the other master, and the case was assigned for case management before Justice Singh. Justice Singh agreed to grant the stay based on an application from Nicholas' lawyers, Romain Totamaraj. In assessing the application, Justice Singh considered the reliability of Caesar's evidence. Justice Singh noted that that when he was first interviewed by police officers while receiving treatment at the hospital, he gave a description of the man responsible for shooting when he claimed he did not know. She noted that 2 months later, he provided another statement in which he identified Nicholas as the shooter. I will stop here by saying that there was a confusion in the statement made by the witness, the main witness in this matter, and as such, it did not meet the standard to go to court where a jury had to decide beyond reasonable doubt that he was the shooter, the murderer in this witness. But what I'm saying all of this to say, and what is interesting about this whole thing, is that, again, a possible murderer is out on the street because of prosecutorial errors. And this is becoming a habit. This is something, this is not, sometimes we blame the court, but the court has to do what the court has to do, right? The police has to also do what they have to do, and the prosecutor have to do what he has to do. And the problem in Trinidad and Tobago seems to be, we seem to be, in the first place, most of the time we ain't catching criminals. And when we catch them, we don't know how to deal with them to secure a conviction. And that's a problem. That's a serious problem. And we talk about that all the time on this program. What could be solutions to these things? Some would say that I remember once looking at a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but that was a long time movie where judges would compile over time, right? Where accused were found to be guilty, but the court cannot prove them guilty. And then they would set up a separate system where these people be executed. I'm saying, and I'm not in any way suggesting that, but I'm saying it looks like that some would argue that that might be what is attempted in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm not saying, and I'm not casting any aspersion in any way, but I'm saying that we seem not to be able to present a case to the court with the standard needed to prosecute criminals or people who would have alleged, who it is alleged would have done things that are criminal activities. And that is something that we have to deal with in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, I like to go back to, I like to talk about solutions. And sometimes we need to give up, we may need to give up some of our freedom. And I know that question was asked on this program already. What freedom are we willing to give up so that the state, or give up to the state, so that the state will be able to solve or have the ammunition to deal with certain kind of criminal activities or certain or the management of the country? What freedoms are we willing to give up? And I remember a couple of years ago, I had a meeting. Dr. Rowley wasn't the Prime Minister as yet, but I had the opportunity to talk to Dr. Rowley in a forum, in a forum in St. Augustine. And I told him that, I asked him, why don't we explore developing a national identification system where you have just one card and you are on a database, everybody, from cradle to grave, with either your DNA or your fingerprint, and it is active. And it is in a system similar to a blockchain system where we just have 1.3 million, 1.4 million people in Trinidad and Tobago. A system where we can identify almost in real time when something happened, who did it, and all the issues. Everything linked to, similar to when you go to London and that kind of thing, everything linked, cameras, everything. And for 1.4 million people, to me, that would be that kind of system would be an excellent system to solve these kind of problems. In fact, it will be a disincentive at this time, and we see how it works, and it will be a disincentive to commit crime. Today, we are still dealing with things like body cam, and the issues of body cam and the police getting body cam. I saw a furor between the commissioner of police and another former commissioner of police talking about the procurement of body cams and that kind of. We still at that stage when there are more serious things happening and more potent solutions available. The body cam, I mean, that provides a certain kind of accountability, and that is very, very important. But we need to be able to control the society, and where there is no real attempts or no real law, no real out of the box thinking by the state to get this thing out of control, what we will have is chaos and anarchy, and that seems to be what we have. And when I looked at what happened over the weekend with this particular murder, I can't believe this is Trinidad and Tobago. This happened. It's just sad. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to open the lines. Pauline, let me hear what your position as it relates to this, because this is something we talk about all the time, and I would want to hear what you have to say. What are some of the solutions? What are you willing to give up? What are some of the solutions that certainly we can explore to deal with these issues? Because we are certainly not hearing from the politicians outside of the Zoho situation, what they are willing to do to solve this problem. And more so, what we need to be more nationalistic in Trinidad and Tobago. Crime is a situation that is affecting not you and I only, but it's affecting everybody. It's affecting the way we live. It's affecting our security. It's affecting our mental health. Everything is being affected by crime, and therefore, you don't have to be a PNM or a UNC or anybody else. All of us could come together to solve this problem, and that seems to be what is not happening. So let me hear what you have to say. You can call us on 342-0081 or 466-5391. I welcome your comments at this time. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening. About the body cameras, it's kind of obvious that the higher powers don't want the body cameras to hide crime. Because, look, for instance, the drugs that was found Felicity a day or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
A guy was on a live today, Karen Alexis, saying that this drugs that the police supposedly showing they capture already on the block selling. So something is wrong here, buddy. Something is very wrong. That is why simple first world procedures cannot be done in this banana republic. I'll go on with that. Thank you very much.
And very interesting. Very, very interesting. Because there seems to be a nexus between crime and the police in Trinidad and Tobago. And, I would be surprised. What the caller just said, I wouldn't be surprised if that is true. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Matheson. Mr. Matheson, you take a critical look at the police service. Look at the deficiencies within the police service with respect to operations and administration. The question, you look at the issue of crime detection. You spoke about prosecution. You look at the DPP, you look at the police, the role of the police in terms of ensuring successful prosecution, together with the DPP. And I am saying that something I'm a bit reluctant to speak about those because like nobody listens, nobody cares. And surely you have a weakness in terms of the quality of police officers in terms of crime detection, the question of gathering evidence, investigation as a whole.
Exactly. We need some kind of training. Something has to happen.
And what I'm saying is that all these matters that you have people going before the court charged with murder and all that kind of thing, they can't reach the High Court. They may reach the master, right, in terms of the initial hearing, sufficiency hearing, and then the master says, listen, all you have no evidence yet to go forward that, you know.
Exactly.
But, right? And what is happening here now is this, is that. So I am saying, Trinidadians have a kind of way where they believe that they have all the answers, they have the technology, they have the professionals, the experts. We don't need nobody here. We could do it for ourselves, and they're making a mess of things. And I am saying that you need to go to England. You have the High Commission here. Get those people. You could get an arrangement with the UK government to have training for these people, because surely the people who are training at the training college, the evidence is there. The evidence is in the result. Because you see poor performance in terms of police, in terms of gathering evidence, presenting evidence before the court. When they go before the court, sometimes some of them can't withstand the robust cross-examination and all that. We're talking about courtroom procedure. Are they competent enough? So I'm saying you need to enter into some arrangement with probably the British government, Crown Prosecution Service and whatnot, to get people to come down here. Don't send nobody up there. And then you have to ensure that the people who you're going to select a cadre of people, right? A cadre of intelligent, well qualified, and those who you suspect are able to carry on that responsibility, and select them. And don't allow people to sell their friends and their family and who this and that and the other. Select those people, right? I don't think the DPP might be, the office might be, or you get some, competent person who understands in prosecution to select those people. Get the English people to send people down here to train those people. Don't select people to send out there. It will be cheaper if you bring people from, because you'll be able to train a larger number of people than you send 2 or 3 people up there to go on. And when they come back down here, they don't pass on, they don't transmit, they don't transfer.
But
right?
Caller, since I was a little boy, I hear about all kind of plans, all kind of operation, all kind of different things. Now we reach the stage where we see commissioner police and police wearing the Punisher insignia and all that kind of thing, and as if to say that is going to deter criminals.
Well, that doesn't add to anything. That you could go with that before the court.
Since our small are here and all kind of plans, why don't we need to strip this thing right down and do what strategic planning people do, right? Break this thing right down and do a national plan, so that and I spoke about it earlier on. We need to go to the root.
Yeah, but I am saying,
and maybe I don't know if we need legislation for it to get everybody DNA and everybody fingerprint, put it on one card, one thing.
All right.
So you could know everything what's going on.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, the critical thing here now is training. Correct. The people are largely incompetent. The police officers that you have here now, who are serving as detectives and whatnot, who gather intelligence, who gather evidence, who take witness statements from witnesses and all that kind of thing. You could see weaknesses in it too. You're taking statements from witnesses and whatnot and all these things. So I'm saying that you need, if you have police officers who are performing well, if you have the DPP office with the right qualified and competent and experienced people there, that is going to go a long way. And I'm saying that that's been rearing its head since in the last regime. Because the last Prime Minister, when you had the DSS matter in somewhere in Maloney or wherever, La Hoqueta or wherever it is, he practically said, hey, listen, I'm going to Barbados and I'm going to England to get police officers to come and investigate this thing. What that tells you? That you don't have the competence yet to deal with it.
Well, I don't know if you remember in that same DSS thing, you had video footage of policemen stuffing money in the pocket and things.
Well, all that, so the thing in a mess. And nobody wants to accept that. And unless they remain in denial, the longer they remain in denial, the longer the problem fester, and it remains it becomes a sore.
It's as if it's something that everybody's afraid to touch.
Well, it appears so, but I'm saying that this country can't go lower than this, you know. Something has to give. Because I am saying that if you don't deal with the problem with the police, that is the root. You're going to have real problems in this country. You need that.
Where there is an unwillingness to deal with certain things like these things, you will have anarchy eventually.
Well, that's how it is. Because what I'm saying is that people don't have confidence and trust in the police. And if every matter that goes before the police charge a man and every 5 out of 8 or 5 out of 7 going home, well then because people don't lose confidence in the police. Nobody wants to report no crime. You're looking for vigilante justice. People taking things into their own hand and all these different things. So people have to, there's something that must be dealt with, and I'm saying that they need to deal with the police, especially with respect to police investigation. You have to deal with the DPP, give them the requisite, the necessary staff, with the competence, training. Do not go and you have those people here posing as big-time police and they could train and they could do this. They were part of the problem. They already left the service. And the reason why the service is as it is today is because of their shortcomings. Because if we talk about succession, if those people who are there now, the information and the knowledge and the expertise and the skill would have been passed on to them, we would not have been in this mess we're in today. And I'm saying that what I could tell them, they need to do that with alacrity. See if you could go to the English. Sometimes you go to American, our system somewhat different. And I'm saying that you need to go there and see if you could get people here to come down here and train, select a group of police officers, probably those at the level of degrees, level of A-levels and all these different things, and have them trained and put that, whatever it is. You need to do that with alacrity.
We need to start by revising how we recruit police officers in the first place.
Yes, right? All that, but I'm saying that
policing should be like Jamaica should be a profession.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that what is urgent now, and yes, you need to do all that. It must be done. You have to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yes.
Because you need to look at the people recruitment. When you recruit a set of people who are SRP and all that kind of thing, I'm not saying that you don't have SRP who are committed and whatnot, but the standard must be higher than that.
Yeah, because you see people looking for jobs. When you see police recruiting and you see 10,000 people line up to be, it's jobs people looking for. People are looking for a profession. It's jobs.
Right. And the fact remains is this: we know as it is, we know nepotism and all that. People sign, people this, somebody come, we make your SRP, and next 3 years we go into the regular police, and that is what has been happening all the time. And I'm saying that you need the qualification in terms of recruitment has to be higher. You have to have training again. We talk about human rights, right? All these things, de-escalation of conflict and all these things must be part of the training curriculum or whatever it is, the topics that people need to deal with. And I'm saying that you have to look at training, you have to look at police discipline, you have to look at police accountability, you have to look at corruption within the police, you have to look at police culture. All these things must be dealt with. But I'm saying at this point in time, with respect to matters before the court prosecution, you see where you're failing, and you need to deal with that situation urgently by getting those people within the police service, and I'm talking about those people who are deserving, to be trained and ready to carry out, to ensure that you have justice in the end. Because if people feel that the police can't secure justice for them, you're making room for all kind of problems, because trust and confidence would break down in the police service. And we know about vigilance, people taking the law into their own hands and all that kind of. It's anarchy.
Well, it's already happened. It's already started happening. I mean, people, the normal Joe already believe in the police again. I mean,
well, they have to deal with it with alacrity. But I'm saying that I don't get the feeling that the body that is there now, the people who are there, I don't think that they're too bothered about it. They believe it's business as usual, you know. We are accustomed, that's how we know it. That is how we've been doing it. And we go, but then people tell you can't do the same thing over and over again, and you must change. If the people with the carnival with his favors, if they didn't do something different, you think you would have had the kind of
success
carnival you have?
Yes,
so you need to change.
You need to
change. If you want change, if you want improvement, if you want to, and that's how the world is.
You have to do different things different.
Yes, you have to. That is what you have to do. And I don't know, people believe that things have to remain the same because we need to show, and that's how police, some of them not properly trained. And I'm saying that you have to change, the police have to change their mindset. The police culture has to change. Correct. Right? So this is what I'm saying, and I hope that, but I fed up talking about that because I don't want no police people. Because then, that's one thing I want to make sure about. I hear people talking about the perceived shortcomings of former ministers and government ministers and allegation about this and that. And they want to prosecute and telling the state has to go and the government has. Listen to me. The people responsible for doing that, the police don't have the skill. They can't do it. The last time government ministers and officials were in fact prosecuted or successfully was with Bob Lindquist. You have to go to Canada to get people. They don't have the expertise. You're wasting time. They are not trained to do this. If you have something with a little thing with the SS up there, you have to go to England and Barbados. Little Barbados you have to go through. You don't have it. And this is something that you need to do urgently. I don't want to take too much of your time, Mr. Martin.
All right.
Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, caller. And the caller is right. We have to start with how we do business. We had to start with training. We had to break the system back down and fix it. Good evening, caller. I know you have been on the line a long time. Caller?
Yeah, Mr. Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Marcus.
Yes, good afternoon.
If we serious or if we want to see serious change, one of the first things we have to do is increase the penalties that exist for the law enforcers, for the people who create the law, and also for the people who interpret the law. And have a clear threshold as to what will be classified sufficient enough to enforce the penalty against them for committing any untoward act.
Wait, I don't understand. What you're saying there? I mean, you say over that so that the public could understand. Increase the penalty for who?
For the police, politicians, and also people within the judiciary. The reason you're doing this and having a clear threshold, right, for what will be sufficient evidence to let them face the penalty is so that we wouldn't see officers shooting in the direction of Joshua Samaru where no threat to them exists, and we do arrest them based on what we see, and any investigation could continue after that, right? But the fact that we seeing what we saw and the excuse for not arresting them is so ridiculous. At the end of the investigation, in my opinion, right, there isn't anything that will justify the actions of the police at the point in time when they open fire.
So you're saying at least, as in my thought, in the employment world, when a worker do something or is alleged to have done something, you move him off the scene and do the investigation. So you put him on leave or something and you do an investigation. You're saying at least in this case, these gentlemen should be sent on leave. These gentlemen should be suspended pending the investigation. That's what you're saying?
More or less, yes. But however, this case in particular requires more than just suspension. It actually requires the officers to be arrested and charged, and the investigation could continue after the charge, right? But based on the
but you'll be setting yourself up for the same thing. What the justice? Oh, you can't charge somebody, you can't arrest somebody and charge them, and then without knowing the facts. So you had to have at least enough what we call prima facie evidence to be able to charge.
On the contrary, Mr. Matteson, the practice here in Trinidad, what has become the norm, what has become the convention is that persons can be arrested and charged while the investigation alongside is continuing to gather other evidence.
Yeah, but listen, it has something. Okay, so you really charge people when you have enough information to charge, right? Because you could end up in a similar situation like what the justice just ruled on to set this man free for the second time, right? So you could arrest me, but when you're charging, at least you have some information. The investigation goes on, but you have enough information to suggest that it is plausible that I would have committed that particular offense. And that's why we say prima facie evidence.
You're actually making more point for me, right? Because in some cases, the threshold will be existing outright, where the investigation is not so much to look for evidence, but to try to piece things together so that you will have your ducks in a row when you come before the court.
Correct.
In certain cases, like Joshua Samaru, where there is clear evidence, or let me go to the legal side and say there is actus reus and the mens rea present.
Well, it have the mens rea, the access rea, not the mens rea, because we don't know what was the intention, what was the intent. We saw we saw the action, but the mens rea wasn't necessarily there.
Right. So for the court to decide if you're guilty or not, then both elements must be present, right?
Yeah.
So that we agree that the actus rea is there. Now, as I say, you can make a charge based on that and continue trying to determine the mens rea, because it has happened in numerous cases, right? Numerous cases. But what I'm saying is we cannot have evidence like what we see in the actual footage and be dancing around with it. It will show anybody who is looking on that we are not serious. Because if this last shooting in Bamboo here, we have the number plate, we're going straight by who the owner of that vehicle is and detain them. If we find anything that could tie them to the scene or whatever, or if the excuse is not plausible, they could be charged.
Well, more than likely, the vehicle might have been, I have seen a sensible criminal putting down that kind of crime with either their vehicle or a vehicle of somebody close to them that could link back to them. So it could either be a vehicle that was stolen or a vehicle that with a false number plate on it.
Right. And you see, with all of that, that is really how the process is supposed to go, Mr. Matteson, what you're outlining. But we have numerous cases where certain elements were not present, persons were charged, arrested and charged, and put before the court.
Well, the thing what we on this program, what we talk about is solutions, right? Advanced crime fighting solutions. So you have all kind of things that could happen in a situation like that. You find the car, you check the car for fingerprints and that kind of thing, and that in a national database, and therefore at least the fingerprints that you find there, red lights start to blink, because those persons would have been on a national database, whether you commit crime or not before, and we should be able to know exactly where you are with an advanced and national identification system. You should know where you are at what point in time, and with the kind of digital systems and that kind of thing you have now, you should be able to be tracked in a system like this. So that is something that we talk about a long time, and these are things that could be used to assist in crime fighting.
And not just assist, the mere existence of a system like that will be a deterrent, because hardly anybody wants to do something and get catched. That is why they devise all kind of mechanisms and schemes to try to get away. But once there is a system existing where the likelihood of escaping is almost nil, people will think before doing things.
Exactly, it becomes a disincentive to commit crime.
It goes across the board for politicians, for police, but we are only seeing penalties being increased for the citizenry or the civilians. People who are not, in most cases, educated about what's supposed to be expected of them as it relates to the law and how to conduct yourself. But the people who are exposed to that environment and are charged with the responsibility, if it's either to create the laws or to enforce the laws, it appears that they want to be held to a lower standard than civilians. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. As I say, they want to tell people they're serious, just how they go into parliament or wherever and increasing penalties for things out here for the civilian public. We need to see that for the police, for the politicians, and everybody else in this circle. Everybody else. You see, when they start to do that, Mr. Matterson, we will really start to get somewhere. Because then we will have an opportunity for the people who are doing the right thing to see, well, okay, this is the bunch of us that really here to do the right thing, and we can start to move somewhere.
But we're going to take a break now. We're going to take a short break, so you can join us after the break.
This meal tip is being brought to you by Royal Castle. Our culture, our taste.
Lent is here, and the castle is making fasting easy and tasty. Come enjoy any of our 5 delicious fish options, all made with a fresh catch, seasoned local style, and cooked to golden perfection. Try the fish meal. 2 slices of fish with a side. The fish combo. 2 slices of fish, 1 side, and a drink. Maybe the fish sandwich combo of 1 sandwich, a side, and a drink. Want more fish? Well, the Royal Fish Meal is for you. Enjoy a slice of fish, a fish sandwich with a side and a drink. Or maybe you just want our famous fish sandwich. The delicious Lenten specials are hot and waiting for you at your nearest Royal Castle.
Here's another meal tip from Royal Castle. Going to the beach? Heading to the river? Or perhaps having a get-together at home? Take the hassle out of the line, pop into a Royal Castle, and pick up the Mega Meal. Get 12 tasty pieces of chicken with flavor to the bone, together with 6 regular sides. Mix them up with your choice of fries, coleslaw, potato, or fresh salad, plus and 2-liter soft drink. Let us handle the cooking while you focus on a good time with your crew. So pick up a Mega Meal or 2 from Royal Castle. It's our culture, our taste.
Lent is here, and the castle is making fasting easy and tasty. Come enjoy any of our 5 delicious fish options, all made with a fresh catch, seasoned local style, and cooked to golden perfection. Try the fish meal. 2 slices of fish with a side. The fish combo. 2 slices of fish, 1 side, and a drink. Maybe the fish sandwich combo of 1 sandwich, a side, and a drink. Want more fish? Well, the Royal Fish meal is for you. Enjoy a slice of fish, a fish sandwich with a side and a drink. Or maybe you just want our famous fish sandwich. The delicious Lenten specials are hot and waiting for you at your nearest Royal Castle.
That tip was brought to you by Royal Castle. Our culture, our taste.
Yes, callers. We are back, and we will certainly continue the discussion as we were before the break. We were talking about crime and solutions, and I was simply asking, what freedoms are you willing to give up to bring some kind of arrest to this situation? And we reflected on the situation over the weekend with the killing of the gentleman who went to get something to eat and, at the Bamboo restaurant area there, and was killed by 2 gunmen. It didn't look like a robbery to me. It certainly looked premeditated, but nonetheless, he was also robbed of his gold chain, and he was brutally slain. The assailants made their getaway in a car that looks like to me it looks like a wing road or something like that, and the rest is history. We juxtapose that against the fact that a gentleman was freed for the second time, who was accused of murdering 2 people. In 2021, he was freed by Justice Nonili, who indicated that the prosecution and the evidential burden and the prosecution was not sufficient to go to a jury, and she provided a stay of indictment to the gentleman. Now, all of that says something about policing, prosecution, and the state at which we are in with crime. If criminals are committing crimes and they feel by doing so they are untouchable and they are not being detected and you can't hold them, then we would have these kind of problems in society. Pure anarchy. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yes, good.
How do you gentleman that's being here?
Oh, he's not here today.
Okay.
I don't think he's
what I want to say is this. I want to talk about the police shooting of the Somali boy. All right. How the police knew that this boy was a Maloney and he just reached Maloney. When he see the police, why he start to speak like that for? And the police had talked to him and asked him a question here. Why, when he didn't stop, when he see the car coming to the direction and mash him up, he pulled to the left and he catch himself to the drain. If not, he would have been speeding the same way. That speed he was speeding, he could have got an accident and take many lives. That was one. As the car away, the 2 police in the back started to shoot. They didn't watch right to left. Why is it, and why is it they didn't run him down my nephew car for my grandson and his own? Right. No. Why he didn't stop when he...
Caller? Okay, we seem to have lost that caller there. I wasn't too following the coherence of what Granny was saying, but she seemed to be saying that why the Samaru guy was run, why he didn't stop any police, stop them or something to that effect. I think that was well ventilated, and the problem there is not so much that, in my opinion, is the fact that the gentleman, when he was stopped, he put his hands out of the vehicle and he was still shot and killed. Right? And that is something we still have to deal with. We were still awaiting the investigation on that matter. That is that is, the verdict is yet to be out. But certainly the public opinion on that is out. And from what I saw and what everybody else saw, if that video was authentic, then something should have been done by now, at least to the police who would have fired the shots. Good evening, caller.
Yes, I just cut off.
Yeah.
I don't know how. So I called back.
Yeah. No
Right. The two police shooting from the back. So let's see. They went to the back. One was the side on that side, on the woman's side. And one on the back of the other side. And both of them were shooting. Anybody can say what they thought they get from this young fella and that woman in the back, what they did, what they was going to do. Extortion, kidnapping every day. And woman is it. The kidnapping that went on in Springville Day, Springville Dolphin. Is a woman was in it. She gets no bail. She did charges. So nobody, let me tell you, police risking their life every day. I say all the police and the places I just see they go in. When they went to hold pile up, that was a kidnapping. And if they get to know something serious going to take place, they have to take a plan. So they should have go wrong to talk to him. Why they should have go wrong to talk to him? To get a debt? Why he didn't step in the road and stand up and put his hand up to the officials? When you get in accident there and you see a jam, you could have pushed out your whole body. I was that officer working. I would have done the same because my life is at risk. Yeah. And let me tell you something. I love the Attorney General. I love Mr. Alexander. I love the Commissioner of Police. And they talk for home search. You let them work and let them do their work. You can't say police shouldn't do this. And let me tell you something. And they say the woman's spine damage. If the woman's spine damage and in 2 weeks she's outside the house on a wheelchair, if your spine damage, you can't come out to the hospital for months. Which doctor says she's spine damage? Which one? Right, so these fellows threatening the Prime Minister, the Attorney General, they're threatening the stage, they're threatening all of them. So who them people, all them mad guys threatening them, you have no respect for the law. You all have no respect for the law. Why wasn't my nephew, my grandson in it? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. And this exact statement by Granny is why I would have a concern, because when people feel that there are no real solutions to solve crime and to fix the society, people start accepting the wrong things by law enforcement. Let me take this call. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening. Listen, you see this thing called fear? When somebody fears something or fears somebody, they ain't going wrong, it's no. The thing, what is going on here right now, the criminals do not fear the law. There is no fear. The criminals believe they could do whatsoever they want and they could get away with it. I never believed for 1 second that a person on a murder charge could have gotten bail. But I see it. So somebody who commit murder, the person who witnessed the murder, or the persons who witnessed the murder, when that person who committed the murder is free, what become of them witnesses? So what we have going on here right now is that there is no fear of law, of the law. The wholesome fellas under the SOE, according to them, gang leaders and so on, as soon as the SCV was done, was over, they let go all of them. And then all of a sudden you started your killings all over the place again. There is no fear of the law. And criminals believe they could do what they want
and that is because,
get away with
and that is because the law isn't organized to be able to put their house in order to be able to do what they need to do to solve crime. And part of it have to do with the crime fighting apparatus and how it is set up. But part of it have to do also with thinking.
But you are totally correct. Bullying in school. You know why bullying in school continue up to now? Because there is nothing stringent. There is no fear to stop the bullies. They believe once they continue the bullying, the principal will suspend me for 2 weeks. And after that 2 weeks, I'm back in school. No fear. So I understand that the government is coming with something now saying that if the bullying in school, the parent now have to pay a penalty. If your child bully another child, the parent now have to pay for that. Now that is fair, because parents now will make sure.
Exactly.
They put that in place for their child and put their child to sort of and tell them, if you only touch a child, it's my pocket go feel it. You go see how that go ease up.
Exactly.
That's
out of the box thinking. That's out of the box thinking.
Yes. Mr. Umpire, listen to me, if them was hanging people on a regular basis, not next every year, every 2 years, them who sitting in their throne. But so long as there is no fear, so long as I believe I could do something. And let me tell you something, to the Umpire. You see, when you know police is your friend, it's a plenty of them police is the friend. Mr. Umpire, police is the friend. You know what them does get station bail? You commit a grievous crime, you in the station, and in 2 days before anything can even reach the DPP, they get station bail on the outside. This is what is taking place here right now. You're looking for a solution? Start with getting legislation that will instill fear and not just talk it. You must see it. You must see the penalty being taken.
But you know one of the problems. One of the problems too in Trinidad and Tobago, and while that is what we talking a lot, but we're not taking into consideration one thing that has to fix, and is the politicians. The politicians understanding what is to be national, what is nationalism, and what is important, because crime is crime, and the escalation of it should be important to every single citizen in Trinidad and Tobago, including the politicians. And they talk a lot about bad legislation, but something has to be done. And if everybody come together to fix this, then it could be fixed. So many things we talk about here. So many things we talk about on this program alone. So many things, I don't think everything in the Zoso bill was bad, right? It was another layer of help to solve the problem, right? And but politicians, for whatever reason, when the shoe is on the other foot, they're asking for support. I think politicians,
no, you're correct, yeah.
I think politicians have to come together to solve this problem in Trinidad and Tobago and stop looking at petty foolishness while people are dying in Trinidad and Tobago.
And Mr. Marcus, I could tell you this one thing before I go. I have seen in a lot of other countries where you have government and oppositions working together.
The US is,
because in other countries,
the US is a good example of that.
Yes.
The US is a good example of that.
Yes. They realize the fact that, listen, if this thing has to come to a standstill or to a stop, we have to work together.
Exactly.
But in Trinidad and Tobago,
we have to work together to solve it.
But in Trinidad and Tobago,
We are on some kind of
the opposition not supporting. And when the opposition get in power, then now become the government. The one who was in government now, who is now in opposition, not supporting the government now who is in power. And this is the problem.
That's stupidness.
You must realize this is stupidness, it's real stupidness. If the whole goal is to save the citizenry of Trinidad and Tobago, it must be a coming together. Both the opposition and the opposition and the government have to work together.
Exactly, for us to get the best possible solution.
Exactly.
To fix Trinidad and Tobago.
Exactly. But it's a pull and pull. Okay, you in power. If I don't support you, well, I might gain some points, some political point at my end. And that's nonsense, Mr. Marcus. Nonsense.
Exactly.
Anyway, have a good evening, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, caller. Caller. Sorry, you got cut off earlier.
Yeah, Mr. Matterson. You know, when I listen to Granny, I understand the reason why we are where we are, you know.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
If Granny,
this
if she is saying that she would have taken the same action as the police, I want to ask, right? Because police like to use the term, they was fearful for their life, right? And that is why they take the course of action. Is it that police alone could become fearful for their life? If Joshua was unarmed, can't he be fearful for his life and try to retreat?
But in fact, his girlfriend did say something. I read somewhere where his girlfriend did give a statement, and she said exactly that.
But even outside of that, I'm asking, if you can determine that somebody wants to harm you or take your life, whether it's a police or not, but in this case, we're using police for that matter. What is your choice of action, if not retreat, when you are unarmed, and try to make it to where you think is safe, whether it's in the closest police station or what? You telling me you just have to remain a sitting duck and allow the police officer to execute you because you would have determined that they have no good intention when it comes to you, whether it's because of whatever prior dealings or relationship or they have? Because everybody is humans, and it's only conveniently they like to recognize that fact. The boy could have already predetermined that I am in fear for my life because I know this police officer want to harm me. So I trying to make it to some sort of safety. But Granny is saying she would have taken the same course of action. I feel some of us don't ever put ourselves in other person's shoes, and that is why we can afford to think in that manner.
But we're going for a break because we are on the top of the hour. So we will certainly continue the discussion after this.
So do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Boy, I got in an accident a while ago. I was in traffic and my car get bunks from behind.
Well, then they're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, the insurance company go fix it up.
Fix up? Huh? I make my claim the next day. And up to now, I can't hear from the insurance company. I need my car fixed.
Look, you better go to the Financial Services Ombudsman. I'm sure they can help.
Yeah, I'm going to check them now.
To resolve a complaint with your insurance company, bank, or non-bank financial institution, contact the Office of the Financial Services Ombudsman at 800-4FSO or visit www.ofso.org.tt. We can help, and our services are free.
After Carnival, TNT, the show you all been waiting for. Laugh till your belly busts. In partnership with Talk City 91.1 FM and TTT Limited. 28th of February at Napa, Port of Spain. Showtime, 8 p.m. sharp. Come see the funniest guys on the planet and the man who took social media by storm. Victor St. Louis, a.k.a. Pelp.
You know, things so hard right now in Trinidad. You know, a store in town, no fire, 2 mannequins.
All his funny friends. Kenneth Sipasa, the greatest storytime teller ever. Shaquille, Louis Spider-Man Antoine, Andrew Friday, The Saint.
Me, you know, first it's so expensive. I went and priced a plate there. You know, they're telling me $10,000 for a plate. I say, oh, there are no sauces.
And Paniska is back.
Stop it, honey. Don't bring out the dog in me, you know. I better scrape you. Meow.
Get those tickets now. Ronnie and Caro, Mascap, Maraval Road, Port of Spain, Bruce Bar, St. Augustine, and islandetickets.com. For ticket hotlines, call 278-5892, 316-0814, 382-9986. Laugh till your belly bust.
Not everything has to change. At KFC, we don't change the flavor, we add more. Now, get our delicious Lent value meals so you can keep on crunching. Get a fish sandwich for $45 or fish fillet with one regular side, also $45. We give you more of the taste you love for Lent. So keep on crunching with KFC. Finger licking good.
There's some advice when you hear it, you know one time is good advice. My granny tell me a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea first thing in the morning does wonders for the body. Good and natural ginger tea in its single-size packets is excellent for flavoring your cooking, salads and desserts. But what was news for me is when my granny say a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea helps with nasal congestion and colds, stomach problems, migraine headaches, and it's really good for arthritis in the body. Made from freshly crushed ginger root to get that strong ginger taste and aroma so soothing. Good and natural ginger tea available with or without sugar, so all you need is boiling water to get a cup going. As the old people say, don't take flambeau to see the night what you could see clear in the day. Good and natural ginger tea. Good advice to start your day right.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And of course, we would continue in the discussion. But I just wanted just observing something here on the chat, and I'm seeing a situation with a schoolboy in somewhere in St. James apartment, who threw himself off a balance. And the story reads, oh, let me take Mr. President. Mr. President, good evening.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago.
I saw you was calling earlier on, but I couldn't.
I realize that there are plenty of people, there are a lot of people out there who like to talk long. and
the same thing I'll say about you, Mr. President. Don't say the same thing about you.
I have a little length sometimes, but I don't know how to give anybody else a chance to sometimes. But there are people who, when they come start to talk, like, their brain bigger than their mouth. So, here we're going on. The conversation is in a sense that you asked a question earlier on, and the real question is how to really change this whole crime system in our society.
And what are we as citizens willing to give up?
We as I keep on telling you, you ask this question a long time, and the average conscious person then go answer you and say they're willing to give up nothing because they don't have anything to give up. The system, human rights, who care about that? Internationally, they don't really care about that. So you're right on already to give up already. You lost that.
So you're saying the politicians should just go ahead and do what I was suggesting, just do it.
This is what I this is why from a long time when I look through the system, I realize that the peasants, the electorate, the citizen had to take over the system. You ask me how to do that once, I keep on telling you the same thing. If the society scared of the politician, the 2-3 people they put on top of it, then the politician have a privilege to do what they want. But the society itself not organizing to take over the system.
Yeah, but the politician, that might be a true statement, because the politician just carry what they want. We saw what happened with the Zoso legislation. One side said no, and it was no.
Yeah, but even so, that is just a matter of talk and legislation. So they go pull back here, they go pull back there, and they go pull back here. But when it comes down to greed, disrespect, and I don't care. You know, we have a word that we just regularly use, I don't care. Well, there is a lot of people, especially when greed is, especially when power, like even the police, even the security people that have power. You could imagine a guardian, not even a police security, but all them other securities were guarding this and guarding that. The kind of power them have, them just get on like if they're police, and they don't have no precept. So when you look at the criminals and them, the criminals that you say early on, they don't really care because they could get away and they once they could size up the thing and understand they could jump a hole there and jump a hole, do a thing and get out of it. You understand? That's why we just talk, do a thing and get out of it. You understand? And long as we know how to do that, it have guns in the system to satisfy that realm. And then, you remember the other day we was talking and I saying, they ease up for the carnival, but I tell you already, what will happen today and what happen tomorrow, all the guns say that is another crime tomorrow. And it have more to come. I ain't putting it there, but it have more to come. Because the fact remains is the mind ain't care and the mind disrespects. The mind have no appreciation to it, but the mind also have greed in it. So as long as we have these things and we have a cosmopolitan society who come from here, there, everywhere with the thoughts and they want to bring back some people from somewhere over so where they went and from war. When them come back here and they had all the ideology to do things, and what they would do? We have the Spanish who coming in.
Mr. President,
yeah.
We can't continue to talk about what the crimes that are happening without talking about solutions.
Well, this is
the thing is, it happened, they will do it. Are you correct? People will do crime. What are we as a society doing? That is...
We have to change the system here, no?
Huh?
The system had to change, and when I look back, we had to change the system, but we had to form some sort of organization, a constructive discipline organization which come out to deal with discipline and fear enough about their own life, because that is one of the keys here. People fear too much of their own life. The politicians fear the police. The police already fear everybody, you know, but I'm already going, you know, them mother shoot you when the time come and see they could get out of it, you know, the police is the boss thing. All the top of leaders talk about the DPP and the this and the politician and the judiciary. The police is the boss, you know. Any moment in time, we could have to defend totalitarianism.
Well, if the police is the boss, if the police is the boss, if the police is the boss, while the crime detection and the conviction rate is less than 14%.
That is why it is the boss. They will have to detect that they will have to keep the place in a tyrannic state. There is a higher degree in the ruling of this existence that controls the forces of this existence. Study the science. The forces and then is controlled by Zionism. The parliamentary members, we take them and put them for 5 years, 2 years, 3 years. They get big money, they into a circuit. And they just end up into the same circuit of the house slave circuit and controlling the police. So they had a gun, but the security put people and them into the police and them have the gun. So eventually them they end up with the boss. Even the politician can't do what they want on Saturday because the police could take them out in the right time, in the right way, and all kind of thing. We doesn't see what going on in the system. But think about it. The people who have the gun is who are the power. I say get the gun out of the world. And if you get the gun out of the world and put it in plowshares and start to plow the land with it, it might do better, but as long as it's gone there and evil is in the mind of men, there is no stop to the evil from now. I remember so in Genesis it tell me, as long as you keep the corruption in your community, it will always have corruption. I take that from Genesis and I watch the light. I say as long as it is encouraged that the crime going in your community, it will always continue as the crime continue to come. And I will pause there because I said all what I know inside of my conscience, in my soul, to really say the truth of what I see out here. And that is what I ain't expecting no crime to go there. I walk in a straight road, I'm very quiet and then detecting any little thing I see in front. And if I can handle myself and defend myself, I may do it even before the thing could reach me because I am waiting for it to reach me. I'm telling you the truth. That is what it is going on out here. We care but nobody, as we say, and we disrespect, and we not appreciative with the one another, and greed covers all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kola. Interesting, very interesting narrative. The thing is, crime is with us, and we have to find a way to arrest this situation And to those who saying, well, maybe, you know, people talking who don't have the authority to, or people talking and they're going to solve no problem, be just talking. You know, bad things happen when good men do nothing. Bad things happen when good people say nothing. I always talk about his story about the priests in the concentration camp in Germany, in where in sometime in the early 50s he was spoken about, and it was said that at the end of the day, when a story was told, the ethos of it was bad things happen when good people do nothing or say nothing. Good evening, caller.
Good evening. I turned on late, but I heard you all talking about solution to solve crime. I believe crime could solve in the morning in Trinidad and Tobago. All the government has to do is enforce the law. Right now, the government has a majority. They could go to parliament and they could pass certain laws so that they can get to enforce the law. I would suggest that they get some more judges, about 4 or 5 judges, and those judges dealing only with fresh cases and mainly murder. These are those cases. The other judges they have there, they should be held to account for cases they have pending 15 years, 17 years. Why?
Well, if judges are held to account for that, you know what will happen? A lot of people who would have committed crime, some of them allegedly committed crime, will go free, because a man is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, and to find him guilty, you have to have the evidence. And most of the time in those kind of crime, the burden of proof is beyond reasonable doubt. So, if the prosecution, if the police, the arresting party, or the prosecution don't do what they're supposed to do, as we would have seen in this matter that I spoke about earlier on, then all those persons you talk about that is in prison will have to be set free. Because clearly one of the reasons why they are there and why these matters are going on for so long is because in most cases the prosecution are ready.
Right.
And that's a problem.
When the police arrest certain people, they should have the evidence. And they also should be held to account. When someone is being held for murder, capital crime, or whatever it may be, there should be a stipulated time in which the case would go, which they would start the case, and which they would finish the case.
I agree with you.
Right? There should be nothing like lawyer coming up today and say that during the case so that they give them some time and give them some time. No. The lawyer should be given a certain amount of time. If they get a fee or they didn't get a fee, they should be given a certain amount of time. And the judges should be given a certain amount of time. Once you run a system like that, and you go into Parliament to get fresh law to deal with those things, and those, if the police bring forth a case, and the police aren't coming to court, the police should be held to account for that. Why are you not there? You are the person who pays the charges against this individual. Why you are not there? And within those periods of time,
a lot of times too, senior officers who would have been part of a case might retire, might be on long holidays and all that kind of thing. All that is a problem in the system.
You know why? You know why that is a problem? Because case taking 15 and 20 years, witness dead, police dead.
Well, again,
that is why.
Again,
because
sometimes, I mean, people without knowing may say, well, it's the court to blame, but the court could only manage based on what they have before it, right? So most of the time, the court trying to manage a case, but the reason why the matter is taking that long, apart from the fact that, you know, you probably need to expand the judiciary, is the fact that the prosecution or the parties, all the parties involved haven't provided all the information before the court so that a trial could begin. And even in cases where that has happened, you have problems with the prosecution and the evidence before it, the type of evidence before it. Sometimes it can't go anywhere, and you know, that kind of thing. So you have all kind of issues that would most of the time slow down a matter, which is outside of the purview of the court. Sometimes the court may just, and you see it happening here, like this case what I read earlier on. The court had no other choice but just set the person free.
This is what I'm saying here. There should be nothing like prosecution slowing down case. You have your DPP and all those folks, let them put things together, and once they come forward that case, they should be ready to go forward with it. And there should be a stipulated time for case to start and case to finish. It used to be done so many years ago. I am 74-year-old, yes. And when I was young, in a short space of time, case finished, I know, well, things get more technical and all this other thing. But once we have a time for case to start and a time for case to finish, and we start to enforce the law, crime have to go down. You know why? You see, you will take a lion and you will train a lion and you will get a lion to submit. If you can get wild animals to submit and bend the laws which you put on those animals, why you cannot get human beings to submit? When you see you start to execute or to put strong things on those people who commit crime, and those who commit crime 15, 20 years, you get to them and you bring them before the court. You see all them people running and killing people and all over the place there, that will stop. You know why? Because they know they will have to pay for it.
But caller, there's another angle to all of this, right? Crime doesn't necessarily happen in a vacuum, right? We may have the breakdown of other systems, other social systems in society, which needs to be addressed. If you put water in a bottle, a plastic bottle, and you keep putting water in the bottle and it overfull, eventually, and you keep putting water, the bottle will swell, it will burst. And what you have happening in society also is some people are looking to survive. Things are happening in Trinidad and Tobago in a space where that same situation, that same analogy I give you, the water in the bottle. Some people may commit crime for survival. Some people may, and therefore we need to put other things in place socially to deal with. And this is something I will have spoken about. I talk about it all the time, but this is something I have spoken about.
We have already put things in place. You know what you put in place? We give people the opportunity to govern. And those people who give the opportunity to govern, they ought to delegate authority. Let us say you have the Ministry of Works not functioning. The Prime Minister now, you have give the delegate authority to the Minister of Works. The Minister of Works delegates authority to the person right under him. And that the Prime Minister saying what I want. And the other person can know the Prime Minister wishes. Or let us say come together and they make a law. Straight down to the man who cutting the grass down there. And if it does not happen, the person going, you know who the Prime Minister going to? The Minister. You know who the Minister going to? The person under him. And there should be consequences going right down here. In a short period of time, things will be corrected. But you know why things aren't corrected? Because folks are not doing their job. There is something they call in delegating authority. One person cannot do it. And when you delegate authority, when the Prime Minister pass and see some grass at the side of the road and tell the minister, see that grass at the side of the road, I want that cut by Tuesday. Like let us say Sunday, by Tuesday, when the Prime Minister pass back, it should be cut. And if it isn't cut, the minister is supposed to answer why it isn't cut. And the minister asking man on them and they're going straight on you. That could be done overnight because laws should be put in place to deal with those who are so insubordinate authority, who fail to carry out orders and so forth. We have to do otherwise. We have to do things in a particular way whereby we can see things done. We can't say, well, I now come in power and 15, 20 years you're waiting to see things before you sit in the seat of governance, because that is what you are giving.
But caller, I mean, I just want to be real with you, right? What we're talking about here is utopia, right? That is not necessarily how it works in the bureaucratic system that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, right? There's clear division of what the Prime Minister, what ministers could do, and what sometimes some people would say the permanent secretary is the real accounting officer, and even with that, you have a whole stratification or a whole system, stratified system down below that does not allow or provide for that kind of thing to happen in the way you see it, right? So we sometimes think that we cast blame against the wrong set of people. Sometimes you're saying the government in office.
May I interject?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
You have some high-profile individual coming to Trinidad,
mm-hmm.
and you want to get something done in a specified time. Definitely you will get it done, though.
More than likely, yes.
What more than likely? Definitely you'll get it done. You know why? Because the drive will be different.
But what I'm saying is, things don't necessarily. We would like, there's a particular minister who, if things used to work like that, everything would have been fixed by now, because he's now a minister. He used to be on a program with me, and he used to talk a lot about that, what you're talking about there. And I used to talk about it too. But one of the things we used to say, he himself didn't even understand how it works. Because we were talking utopia. Things does not necessarily work like that, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, in this bureaucratic system, right? While we say that the minister answers to the Prime Minister, and then the Prime Minister, the PS answers to the minister, and this and that, and go down the line. It does not necessarily work like that. You can't just get people to do things in the way you have all kind of layers, protection of workers, policies, all kind of different things. In private sector, yes, but not necessarily in this national system that we talk about, in this government system of governance that we talk about. It doesn't necessarily work like that.
With all those protections, the government has enough power right now to mash up all those cages, go to Parliament and break up all those cages. I mean, you would get some resistance.
Well,
like
you just say the right word. They will get some resistance.
Yeah,
Watchman, nobody trusts nobody in Trinidad and Tobago. Everybody feel that if I do it, I may take advantage of the system, and therefore you don't have unity, you don't have nationalism, you don't have parties coming together and saying we could fix this or we should fix this, and for the betterment of everybody, Trinidadians. And that's the problem. The problem is not so much politicians knowing that this could be done if they come together. It is more that if we support this, how we will look and what could possibly happen out of this, good or bad. And that's the problem in Trinidad and Tobago. And this is what I've been saying. And I mean, it irks me. It might be hard to be a politician because politicians know what talking about is real, right? Plenty people, you know, posturing and saying they could do this and they could, but they can't because the system doesn't allow for them to be able to do it.
But the system can allow if we have honest people. I do believe that the opposition and the ruling party should try their best to get together and work together for the good of the country. It would be very hard. It would be very hard.
Listen, I say that every day. I say that every day. I say that every day. I wish that could happen.
But in the situation now, to be honest, that's how I'm seeing it, the government in power has a very, not a good opportunity, but a great opportunity to change things because they have a big majority. And let me tell you something. When the consequences of an evil work is not speedily brought to trial, and a person can do evil and get away with it, kill and get away with it, the hearts of men are set on wickedness. We put people in place. The main thing the government has put in place to do is to curb crime. That is the main thing. Because once you curb crime, then your economy would start to swell.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
To curb crime,
I agree with you, sir.
Country will go bankrupt.
I agree with you. I'm agreeing with you. But crime has an economy also.
a great economy. You know why? Because crime pays.
Exactly.
Crime pays. And then, Mr. Matterson, there are few honest men in the world. There are men who stand tall above men. And there are some men, they will speak something to me. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah, there are some men who will speak something to me. And you see the word means nothing. A man is only a man when his word has strength and he will die for what he says. Those are the men we need in Trinidad here. Men who are able to stand by the word. And if even they have to give up a big fat salary, they stand by the word. If even they have to go to jail for the right, they stand by the word. And that is what we need today.
Right.
But I do believe
that's what we need. That's what we need in Trinidad and Tobago. That's what we need in Trinidad and Tobago. People who would stand by their word. Yeah? So thank you, caller.
Thank you so very much for this opportunity to converse with you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Good evening, caller. I saw you have been waiting patiently on the line. You are live now.
I eat, drink, and I forget all what I wanted to say.
Speak or forever hold your peace.
You're right. You were speaking, because since you were speaking about utopia, you remember you were saying that you spoke many a time on utopia and what we live in. And when that guy saying what should be done and what could be done, and you said you talk about utopia, but it can't happen. First, I'd like to ask you why it can't happen. Although you say it's because of this society we live in, bureaucratic society. Is that it?
Yeah.
Right. So why can't it be done? You see, we, Mr. Matterson, adopt every attitude of, well, that's the way we live. Well, it can't be done. Well, it's how we live. How the hell will a person or an industry or anything change if it's a long dream?
Well,
or if it's a long say?
Well, caller, you're talking my language. I'm saying that, like the caller that just speak, I would love to see those things happen, but certain other things have to happen for that to happen, right? And,
what other things?
And sometimes we as citizens, without our ignorance, we are unaware of all the elements, all the parts, all the moving parts involved in things happening. And some of them are even persons who were just like us and now in government and seen it for themselves. It doesn't...
That's excuses. But Mr. Madison, you're doing it again. Some of them.
So
let
me ask you something.
I am just saying.
So then why they're fixing it? Why is Zoso legislation failing?
Mr. Matheson, I listened to the guy just now, and you listened too.
Okay, good.
Let me tell you how you just say, well, excuses. Well, some people doesn't do, and them does. What is the question you asking me now? Why what?
Ma'am, I'm simply saying that I am agreeing with all the nice. I say a lot of things that should happen. That's to some people, to the ears of some people, might sound utopic. The problem is, for us to get it done, we have to have that national consciousness. All of us, the politicians, all of them have to come together. That national to make it happen. And if they ain't coming together to make it happen, we could talk from now until it's not going to happen.
You see what you just said? If you see what you just said, if they don't make it happen, we could come. Now listen, it's
tell me how. Okay, well, tell me. Well, maybe tell me how we could do it.
It's not about. It's not about they or how we. What you just laid out there, that the country have to come together to do it. It's not so hard.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay. Well, if it's not so hard, you sound like God. If it's not so hard, tell us how to do it.
No. I am not. Oh gosh, what I am telling you, it is all right. I shouldn't say that's very hard. I'm not God. Do everything we do in life. We're not talking about what you're talking about just now. If you don't do it, it's a problem. So we make excuses. I'm not saying problem you have or whatever. Make excuses and make this where it can't or might not or could not or should not because they and them and this right. All I am saying, you just said it. You just said we have to make a conscious decision, consciousness, which is right. But you will not get no part of the world, no part because God is not walking among the people. No part of the world you will get a consciousness with the people in 1 minute and all the people at that same time. No. But the germ has to start, Mr. Matheson. It takes, before you get that consciousness, how a consciousness start is what? One day just get up and say, the world something, and you get everybody in your country got that consciousness. And no. Even you, even me, when we get conscious about certain things, it's because some germ, something ignite. And then you will go to me and it will ignite and might go. It will take time. So people think like it's a wand, you wave, boom, and crime. There's nothing like crime going to solve no time. And that is what you have to get in your head. When people expect me and you, and I know the answer, and there's no crime, as I just said, is an underground economy that is just like having banks. How are we going to get rid of banks, boy? Because, it's a bank, it's a movement, it's a people, it's your brother, your sister, your uncle, and people are in crime. It's not a certain people off the island is in crime and we wondering how to get rid of it. Crime is intermingled. It's inside, as a guy told me years ago, in every family in the world. You will find a priest, a pauper, a pundit, and a bandit. In every family, you will find one down the line. They mean a brother or sister, down the line. Every family have some crook in it. Take what I am telling you. Everyone, no matter how good, how righteous, rich, the king, the queen, the this, the that, you could meet up, and crime is, is here.
So what are you willing to give up to get?
Give up? Why I have to?
What are you willing to give up? What?
Why I have to?
What?
Why I have to give up?
What sovereignty?
Why I have to give up?
What you are willing to? What are you willing to give up to get this crime? What are you willing to do to solve the problem in Trinidad and Tobago?
Me? To solve the problem? You don't have to give up anything. I am not, or you don't solve a problem. The problem of crime. I said crime is within us, it's in the society, wherever. But how you live, some little child will see it, see whatever, whether it's integrity, and take from it. Another child, and so it will go. You have to get, as you said, conscious. You have to be conscious of who you are, where you're going, and what you intend to be. And as the guy said, if you're thinking about a country, or talking about people, the consciousness should be, you're thinking about the country instead of wondering, they in power. And another thing, there's nothing like power. When I hate to hear people talking about them in power. There's nobody in power. They are in office. They're there to serve you. Everybody who you voted for, or I voted for, or anybody in office, they are in office. They're not in power. But that's why I really rock back. So they're in power and waiting for them to do. And that is where I come to them. And they say, well, them are doing, or me here do, or she here do, or we, right? Everybody has their part to play. And as the guy said, right, life is a stage. And everybody has a role to play, right? So if you know you play your role, perfection for you, you go on the right and straight and narrow way or the crooked way or the whatever, it's your role. You stay on the if you want to change the world, as I say, stay on the straight and narrow road. Somebody will snitch a little from you. And if your brother, your sister, your co-worker has that same attitude, another person or that will take, and it will grow into a consciousness, but it has to be a consciousness that is grown and not waving a wand, and not what you do or what I do or what I
am just concerned. I am just concerned that the guy named Curtis Spear, who was killed Saturday night into Sunday morning, he probably was doing the right thing too.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I don't know who's Curtis here. You doing the right thing too. Everybody doing the right thing. In everybody's life, they're doing the right thing to them. How you mean? So you're not doing the right thing?
So let me take
the right is not a thing,
Let me take this call here. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Paya Matteson. When you are alone behind the stumps. All right. First, a correction. Bureaucracy is not a society. Bureaucracy is a system of government administration.
And
a chain of command and a span of control.
But I did say that.
Right? So, right? So, that's the first thing I want to put out there. Now, in this thing with crime, right, we always have people, as they call them, I should be going over this over and over, we call the lumpen proletariat, which is a criminal element in the proletariat. Right? And then we have the bourgeoisie on the other side. I believe, based on the quantitative data for between last year and this year, I believe that the crime has, between 2025 and 2024, I believe the crime has reduced a little bit because of a little improvement in the leadership of the police service. The present commissioner, he's a young man still. I think he just bordered about 50 years. So he would have had a batch of officers trained with him who now would have been occupying what they call supervisory positions in the police, like inspectors and superintendent and assistant superintendent. They will cooperate with him. Everybody will not, but he'll have a majority of support there. We also have, for the first time in Trinidad, a Minister of Homeland Security who is also a police, and he will have support in the police service too. So that combined support, people will feel more motivated, right, to do what they have to do. Because everybody police had a problem with leadership. Same as James Philbert, I think. They were only acting until when Mr. Gary Griffith was appointed commissioner. Before we had Mr. Stephen Williams, for a length of period, acting. And all these things demoralize people in any organization. Right? Because when a person is acting, you could get up one morning and hear somebody in your position. So you don't feel stable. Right? So you don't feel motivated or confident. So your productivity level will drop. Right? So we have to put all these things into how they call it, into perspective, not perspective as people are saying. The word is perspective. Right? So we have to watch and see what data this year, 2026, will drop. Right? Right? So these are the kind of things we're supposed to be speaking about. Right?
Well, the thing is, you see data and statistics without telling me how you're going to do it or what's your plan. I have a serious problem with that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, the statistics are showing, and I did say that earlier on a trajectory, that crime or serious crime is going on, but they're still having some real hideous activities taking place, which tells me that what is happening might be happening by luck, the fact that it's going on, because I'm still not hearing or seeing any prospects of a plan to deal with certain things.
Well, you may not see a plan, you know, that open to the public, but in the public arena.
But then you're seeing the same kind of crime happening. So then if you're doing something, tell me what are you doing? Because the same kind of crime happening, you're seeing on both sides, you're seeing the same kind of crime happening on one side, and on the other side, you're seeing the same situation with prosecution. Judges have to free people, alleged criminals, because the police didn't do the work, and you know, that kind of thing. So what you really do? What is you really doing?
Well, you see, it goes back to because of people not motivated. People would, in most cases, even in more advanced societies and ours, when people not motivated, they will not do a proper job.
But I don't think it's that. I think it's more than that. I think we just don't have we haven't thought this thing out properly. And I did say that clearly we need to start from ground up. We need to have some kind of system where it makes it difficult. It makes it a disincentive to commit crime. But at the same time, we can't leave certain things stifling on the ground, because crime is a creature of some other things that are social elements and that kind of thing. So we have to fix that too.
Well, of course, if the society is in shambles, what you will have, and that doesn't happen only today. There has been, you know, that societal program didn't only start today. So there's a lot of issues, but I was referring to in terms of the police and their work, where I believe there's a form, bigger as it is, there's an increase in the leadership of the police service. And that is why we have a little reduction. Right? We go look, for example, look, the Prime Minister said behave themselves for carnival. And I believe people, again, leadership, I believe people behave themselves. Because when I wasn't on the streets, but when I watch my TV in between, I have seen a better form of discipline on the road for Carnival Monday and Tuesday in the bands. You don't see ladies getting on in any kind of extreme. But I on TV, I don't know, I wasn't on the streets, so I cannot comment on that. Right? So we have to watch, and with good leadership, you get good results. But we cannot end crime. People have been studying that since time immemorial.
Since Rousseau and them fellas and them.
Yeah. Well, no, Rousseau, in fact, Rousseau and them come up with the idea. They say, well, the only thing that solves this thing, we have to put a priest in charge. Who they call a Leviathan. Yeah, that was the conclusion. Yeah? And they were the father of sociology. Yeah, they were the founding fathers of sociology. Yeah, and they couldn't solve it.
But I'm saying, and I always maintain that we are a nation We are an advanced nation, as a matter of fact. We have available to us the same thing all over the world that is available all over the world, right? And we have to establish priorities. We also have to start to critically think, and we have to start a plan. In ways, you have a new organization, you have a strategic plan. This is where you want to go. This is how much people you want in the organization. This is how many people you need to train. This is how you need to train them. This is how you will compensate them. This is how you would maintain the performance and that kind of thing. And I talk in your language. And we have to set up the society like that. And we keep trying to put plaster on sores with things and trying to be going. It's not working. And in addition to which, and I was talking about bureaucracy and all that kind of thing before, and the way the system is set up and the type of governance system that we have, which does not allow for certain things that sometimes we talk on the radio, we talk about what the government should do and holding people responsible and getting things done, and that it does not work like that in this kind of political system.
You see, I don't want to mention before I go into that one. Look at how these schools are doing about much indiscipline in the schools against the police interventions. I just want to mention that APASA. That is because of our leadership again, right? In terms of the what I was just speaking there about the remind me, throw him up a little bit here. Remember the last comment you made?
No, I was talking about a plan, plan out the system in a particular way, break it, mash it up and build it back through proper plans, with proper plans to know everybody, to have everything in a particular way. But again, you would have to have that kind of support from the politicians, all of them, to be able to do that.
Yeah, the point I was just my favorite point is this thing about this plural society. Our politics is based on a plural society and a tight division, right? So politics is to capture power. So and our politics is based on two major ethnic groupings. So you understand? So we always have this kind of thing. Every morning you get up in Trinidad, you're watching at some issue. When you look at it deeply, or do introspection, is a derivative of the plural society. We can't get away from that. And the point I was trying to make too is we have academics as all countries. Look, Jamaica cooperates also. Why we can't cooperate some kind of thing? You trying your best. I don't know if call you as Rezo. No, Rezo is the word for good in Fatwa. Rezo. Right? So people in academia have to come up with some solutions in this country. People just can't be walking trying to be going to say, I have a degree, I have a bachelor, I have a master, I have a PhD. What are we doing? And what are we doing to develop this society? What are we doing? Right? We cannot compare. Jamaica is what they call a more or less a homogeneous society. So what will work with them may not work here. Right? You can't transplant it wholesale from Jamaica to here. So we have our own. We be unique in the Caribbean, Guyana too. But somehow Guyana was able to solve some other situation because
well, Ghana, you had to put Ghana in the same category that you put Trinidad and Tobago in.
Yes,
right?
Yes, but
it's
Ghana
just
was
a little more uneven.
Yeah, Guyana was able to do a little thing because they did choose to go a different political route. Seeing that they're a plural society, they went with proportional representation. So they have a wider spread of representatives in the parliament, or they call it the regions, from larger representatives from the regions in Guyana. Right? We didn't try anything. We tried constitutional reform, and it was a dagger in the heart of the PNM. It was mentioned. Right? So we have to get the solution, and that is your program should be calling upon people who in the know, right? Who in the know, to make contributions, and let us see if we could start some kind of grouping to work on this on our unique society. We have a plural society and working in a Westminster system, right? and God alone knows how we continue that up to today. But we've seen how the results now. It is a problem, what they call it, a problematic, right? So we have to do something, right? We inherited that. That is how the society based on slavery and indentureship, came into being, right? So we have to try our utmost. I don't know if my generation or your generation will be able to do that, right? But we having this problem since 62 coming down since 62.
It's just snowballing. It's just snowballing.
Yeah, right.
It's just snowballing. It's like we every step we take forward, we go two backwards because clearly we're trying to operate on bad systems. We are fighting among ourselves, which is probably the worst thing you could do in a situation like this, because really and truly crime is something that affects everybody. It doesn't look at color and that kind of thing. It affects everybody, and therefore we should be sitting in rooms and thinking how we could, before we come out of that room, how we could solve this problem.
Of course. And then we live in a country where people who know a little, they don't get no opportunity to do nothing for the country. Right? That's the next thing. Right?
It's so unfortunate, but sometimes it is frustrating just thinking about where we could be. But we have a very intelligent population,
Of course.
We have a very, very intelligent population. People are just, it's like a state of inertia.
Yeah. So that's why people, we have this constant brain drain that people go, they leave it and go. Yes. That's where the brain drain stems from. Yeah. So that is how it is, Mr. Matterson. So, I give you that for effort. You're trying your best there, but, right, the most we could do, people like myself and Mr. West and the others, is to contribute, but we have to start looking at solutions in this program.
Yeah. Whenever I talk, I always talk solutions, because for years I've been listening to people, and you're hearing criticism, you're hearing people criticizing the government for whatever reason, you're hearing all kind of things, but you're not hearing solutions. And it's one thing to criticize, and even if you're talking utopia, because at the end of the day, you can talk that, but you must be willing to, you must understand also that you have to make a contribution to make that become a reality.
Yeah.
Right?
Another point before I leave is this classical conditioning that was done in the country. That's another theory that every morning it shows up itself, right? Because
what's that?
The Pavlov theory of classical conditioning, right? Pavlov theory of classical conditioning, where people, even self, the pot is full, the dog comments salivating. When the spoon up the empty pot, the dog comments salivating too. So people expect the same thing over and over, and they're not willing to change.
Well, on a program, I said that, what we just be looking for in trying to make is magic, Because clearly, if you're not willing to support, or you're not willing to you can't see why things have to, for us to get what we want, we had to unite.
Of course.
Right? You can't see that, but you asking for things that ain't going to happen. If that happen, then you're looking for magic.
Yeah. Because look at Mr. Matheson. Look, because of the classical conditioning, the morning we get up and we ain't hear nobody dead by murder or whatever it is. We feel as if we something wrong.
Yes, exactly.
So what is what I call classical conditioning?
Exactly.
You always doubting yourself.
Exactly.
How does this happen? How I hear Matheson today? You understand?
That's exactly it. And we had to understand that And we have to understand that if we need to fix it, we have to come to a conscious realization that, certain things have to happen, and we have to be willing to give up certain things also. That is sometimes, even, and I'm talking to the politicians here, your pride in saying, I support this, and it might hurt me down the road, my general philosophy, I mean, my idea of criticizing the government or whatever, because the government might do well and I mightn't get an next term in office in that kind of way. But you had to see Trinidad and Tobago as the main thing, the recovery of Trinidad and Tobago as the main thing.
That's so true. Well, I don't know. You might not have time, so tomorrow, please go. We want to look at the CARICOM that is starting, I think, tomorrow conference.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That's in St. Kitts.
In St. Kitts.
And I saw that Fali is joining the Prime Minister, which is a good gesture. I haven't seen that happen before, but I think one time over London did go with the Prime Minister, if I'm not making a mistake. But Fali will be with the Prime Minister on this conference, and I look forward to hearing what comes out of that, because I know there was a lot of pushback with the other Caribbean countries in the last few months with respect to the Americans and their operation in the Caribbean.
Yeah. But that is a strong example of leadership.
Yes.
Right? Because he almost equivalent to the Prime Minister of Tobago.
Exactly.
Right? So you have it's time now for him to come out and give him a sense of importance.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right? So he will work with you in the future, most likely, and support you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Although he having some problems in Tobago, with the chamber, the Tobago chamber, and I'm seeing statements being made. To me, is unfortunate, but because I've met Fali a couple of times personally, and I think he has a good idea in relation to what Tobago needs, and he has a good idea as to how to get there, and he's trying his best, in my opinion, with what he has. But I mean, he is akin. He's in some way people saying, well, he's supporting the government, this government, and maybe he shouldn't, and that kind of whole set of nonsense. Again, people just look at things from a very narrow perspective in trying to make it. And that is what is killing us, certainly.
Of course. And then quickly, I just mentioned topics for tomorrow or someday in the week. We have the Street in Barbados.
Yeah, and that's something we haven't spoken about. You're old man, remember I tell you, me and Motley going and take everything.
Well,
after the carnival, I said I had to talk about that, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it yet.
I know it was. What is? What I'm telling you. You see, this.
But caller, we just out of time. We are not.
Okay, well, tomorrow please go because we have something.
Right?
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
You want to find something great to do with your Tuesday nights? You want to learn and understand the true reason for Jesus? Then join us every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. for the program, This Same Jesus, the program that puts Jesus in his rightful place in our hearts and in our homes. Let's bring church home to you. Join us every Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. with your hosts, Kempes and Kevin. Be inspired, be blessed right here on the street 91.9 FM.
Falling in love with Jesus.
Nature's Touch Massage Therapy and Nutrition and Nature's Touch Youth Health Caravan invites you to join us live on the Street 919 FM every second and fourth Friday morning.